Hello, I'm here with Vicky Knight, who has just been elected as the Vice President of UCU, and we thought it would be useful to ask Vicky a bit about herself and how she sees things developing in further education, in higher education, and indeed for the union as a whole. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, Vicky, well, congratulations on your election.
Thank you.
It's a fantastic result. Can you tell us, first of all, a wee bit about yourself, what you do, what you've done in the movement, what your experience is, please?
Okay, in UCU, I am a Trade Union Studies lecturer at Manchester College. I have been for several years, and I have been on the FEC NEC as an elected women's rep in FE. So that's kind of where I've come from. Before that, I was in the FBU, the Fire Brigade Union.
Well, you indeed,
So yeah, I was there for 20 years, there or thereabouts, and I was.
So you've had all the jokes about firefighting in the union and all that. So we'll not do that.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my background basically. I'm absolutely delighted to be elected as Vice President-elect. I'm thrilled about the potential to kind of get involved at a different level, a more strategic level within UCU.
That's great. So you take your position up after Congress, that's correct?
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask you some issues about FE, because that's your particular sector?
Absolutely.
What do you think are the big issues facing staff in FE over the next 2 years, leading up to your time as president of the UCU?
How long have we got?
5 minutes.
Okay. I think, first of all, for me, looking at power, looking at change, I think it's important to follow the money. Right. So we're looking in FE at FE funding cuts in particular, FE student loans, and the lack of bursaries for many positions, particularly in the NHS at the moment. So yeah, for me it's really important to think about the impact of the cuts to FE funding and the adult skills budget. Absolutely decimating certain areas of our provision, particularly around ESOL. Trade Union Studies itself is going to suffer a 50% hit in September onwards. So the irony is that we are training the next generation of trade union negotiators with links to statutes, so there is a requirement to train, yet 50% of the funding to support training of those people is going to disappear in September. So that's an interesting one to watch. We've seen what's happened to ESOL already at the moment, and there are other areas that have been absolutely hatchet chopped around FE. But that's the provision side of it. Students, skills development and investment in skills for the next generation of workers is horrific. We've got students from level 3 onwards looking at having horrendous financial chains around their necks, to develop skills to provide public services, to provide skills for future generations in things like the economy and house building, in areas that we really do need skills development to be there and available at the point of need, and we don't have that at the moment. So yeah, for me it's going to be money, it's going to be funding, it's going to be how do we access funds to deliver and to provide education to the people that need it.
And obviously that needs the most effective union possible, and I'll ask you about that in a second.
Absolutely.
But I know it's a hard question, but if you could change the government's approach to FE with a magic wand, and we all wish we had a magic wand, is there a single change that you would like to make to FE to move it in a progressive way?
The single change I would say is that they had to have researched and informed decision makers, making these decisions that have a huge impact on our sector and what we can deliver. I would certainly want to have area reviews, the outcomes. Obviously there's going to be this review. You had a similar scenario in Scotland, yes, absolutely. And we are looking to what happened there and the reduction in access to FE student posts.
Particularly for women, doing part-time courses and so on. It's
absolutely,
it's been horrific.
It's horrendous. The instability, I think, is going to increase casualisation of the workforce. We're going to see more 0 hours contracts, more flexibility in provision. Students are going to have to travel far greater distances to be able to attend courses that they want. And actually, the provision of those courses is going to be cut massively. So it may well become a postcode lottery as to what you can be, what you can train in, and what services you can provide in the future. So area reviews, I would certainly want some kind of research and certainly an awful lot of trade union or staff side input into what the future of FE looks like post review.
Okay, and in terms of one of the things in Scotland, as you'll know, is the Scottish Government have argued that they ought to be a national bargaining position, and this has been accepted, except Glasgow colleges have not signed up to it, and so on. And there was a strike last week which UCU were supportive of, of our colleagues in EIS, in colleges and so on. In terms of moving towards a proper national sectoral approach, what are the issues for you in England, let's say?
I think there are numerous issues, aren't there, around recognition and bargaining. We have a structure, for example, around pay bargaining with the AOC, the Association of Colleges. As we all well know, this is a structure that provides a recommendation, a national recommendation. So in order to talk about consultation, negotiation and bargaining, we need to have the ability to reach a conclusion that has to be enacted, that has to be enforced. So I'm not making a comment about the appropriateness of the structures we've got. That's what we've got. But I think what we need to have a really clear view on is, if we're going to participate in structures that claim to represent workers, they need to have discussions at a level where a decision can be made and enforced and implemented, and where it isn't, then there should be some kind of repercussions for those not adhering to those framework bargaining positions. Hats off to EIS and the support that's been given by the unions in Scotland. What's going to be quite interesting is going to be to look at STUC conference, which I think is in April, isn't it?
Yes, it is indeed.
And the kind of discussions that you're going to have up there around this issue. And I'm really looking to the outcome of those discussions to see what good and best practice we need to share south of the border.
Well, that's good. If you had a main task for the next year, let's say in UCU, in FE particularly, what do you think it is we should set ourselves the aim of doing? Is it possible to identify one, or is it a series?
I think we've got lots of challenges like the rest of the movement have. You know, we're looking at a trade union bill that's undermining the actual status and ability for unions to do what they've historically done. So I think our strength is going to be with our membership density. We need to get onto branches and we need to improve our membership density, which there hopefully will lead to more productive local bargaining, more productive collective regional national bargaining. So I think that's a challenge that we really must take head on and say that people are undermining unions not because they're pointless, but because we have the potential to be the most effective force for good in the UK today. So we need to put as much power to our elbow as we possibly can around representing members.
Tell me, Vicky, in terms of trying to attract people to the union, what can we do to improve our attractiveness to people, and particularly to women in the union, because I know you've done so much work in this area?
I think unions, and it's not just UCU, I chair the TUC Women's Committee, and what's really apparent there is we don't very often sell the gains that we make on behalf of workers and on behalf of women workers. We all know that the TUC is made up of a majority of women in unions. The public sector is made up of a majority of women in public sector unions. And so women really do have, you know, the balance of power, of voice within the movement. And what we do at UCU have done some great strides around equal pay and the gender pay gap. The TUC have just produced a report on the motherhood pay gap as well, which makes really interesting reading, that women are countless snookered always in the workplace. So I think kind of bringing to the fore the issues of UCU being a women-dominated union, working in a women-dominated trade union movement, and having some fantastic brains, you know, within our membership to think about strategy and research and the advances that we need to make for women in the movement. I think we have a real, you know, we've got a real positive there as a union, and we need to let people know every single successful outcome that we have. I don't think we sing our praises enough sometimes, because we do fabulous work for women and men in UCU, and we need to share more of the positive outcomes that we have.
Thanks very much. Well, I look forward to hearing reports of how you do, you know, to the membership, you know, when you take up post and in the next coming years. But thanks for giving us your time, Vicky.
You're very welcome. Can I just put on record as well, congratulations to UCU Scotland. I think we really need to do some of that promoting great outcomes.
On the governance,
when we've got your HE governance bill's passage with a wonderful majority, the impact that's going to have on kind of representatives from the trade union, and to have a real balance of elected members on senates. We really do look forward to seeing what that brings, but congratulations to
the Democratic
UCU
deficit
Scotland.
in FE is quite appalling, isn't it?
It is, it absolutely is.
Well, hopefully that's something you can all learn from.
Well done.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.